Hey guys, what is up? And Shadolances back with another commentary. I'm actually using my new computer today, but I am still using my old mic, so sorry about that. I'm actually recording the audio from my laptop, and I just thought I would go ahead and do this. Anyway, I did want to do a commentary over just how to be a people's person and how to realize just some general aspects of life that not everyone goes around to think about. Now, a lot of you are going to think, oh, well, did you get this idea from Arctic Dropshot? And if you guessed that, you are absolutely right. I asked him because I was completely out of innovations, which is kind of a new thing for me. I usually have plenty of ideas to go around, but I'm feeling incredibly stupid today, so I had to go ask him for some help, and he had some amazing ideas, as usual. So let's hop right in. I want to go over 4 basic facts first, and then I want to go over how to properly be a good people's person. Now, I say this as a clan leader and as a YouTuber, so I know how to deal with people for the most part. On top of that, I run small businesses, so please keep that in mind as well. I speak from experience. First of all, it's important to know that everyone has a role to play, even if they don't ever realize it. Lots of people go through life without realizing that everyone plays a role. Even if it's something as simple as being supporting to your younger brother, or if you're helping out the homeless, everyone has a role to play. Even that hobo at the end of your street, he plays the role of just being there to talk to. Lots of people will stop by and talk to homeless people because of their life experiences. They can obviously share a lot of aspects of life that not everyone can talk about. Not everyone is able to speak about every experience in life because not everyone can possibly experience everything. The second thing I wanted to go over is something that I actually got asked because I mentioned it in an old video. What is the Hitler paradox? Well, although the example uses Hitler, it actually talks about any kind of catastrophe in general. The concept is that society keeps advancing, technology keeps getting better, and everything keeps it just going forward. Well, the concept is that, let's say Hitler happened now, instead of in World War II. Or let's say Hitler had been killed, and World War II never happened. Let's say he was killed as a child or something on accident, or, you know, he never existed, something to stop that from happening, and World War II never happened. Well, while it may have been fine then, our technology would have continued to get better, and we would now have the devastating stuff that we have today, like nuclear weapons that are far more effective than the original atomic bomb, which was actually quite makeshift, if you guys don't know your history very well. So keep that in mind. And now, if that stuff were to happen today, the Holocaust would have been far more devastating than it would have been all those years ago. So in a way, it's actually better that it happened then than it happened now. However, the other side of the paradox is, well, a lot of those things were created during wartime, and if they hadn't been created because there was no wartime, we wouldn't have advanced as fast. But you have to keep in mind that it's not only war that forces advancements. Lots of things force that. That's what the Hitler paradox is. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Hitler. It could have been Osama bin Laden. But let's say he had come along later and Al-Qaeda had been more powerful. Any number of things that would have changed the course of history can be considered part of the Hitler paradox. So just please keep that in mind while you are asking questions like that. Continuing, I wanted to go over that everyone has the capacity to dream. Now, I finished rereading The Great Gatsby for the first time since, I think, 11th grade. But at any rate, I do wanted to just point out that everyone has the capacity to dream. Everyone may say, oh, you're not very creative, or you're not very smart even. But you know what's stronger than any of that? And this may sound incredibly stupid and something that Disney would say, but the capacity to dream is far more valuable than anything you could possibly learn in school. If you have the capacity to dream and you have the willpower, anyone who has the capacity to dream has a strong willpower. And if you guys can use that, you can go so far in life, it's amazing. If you guys watch my video on how to make money in high school, that is a great example. Use any creativity, ask your friends for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I ask for help every 5 minutes. I had to ask Arctic for this topic that I'm talking about right now, jeez. So just keep that in mind. That's one of the best ways to be. The next thing I want to go over is that you have to understand what the individual is. Earlier I mentioned that everyone has a role to play. Sometimes more than one role. Sometimes your role is to play more than one role. It can vary quite a bit. But you have to remember, individuals are the sum of their memories and experiences. The reason everyone has a different role to play is because everyone is a different person. And the reason everyone's a different person is because everyone has different memories and experiences. If you're raised in a good household, then you're probably going to be taught that academics are very, very important and that you should do your best in everything you do. However, if you're not as fortunate, then in some cases you may not get that kind of support at home and you may need to get it from somewhere else. However, that's also going to affect the person you are, and it may affect you positively or negatively. But either way, it's going to affect you. That's the important part. Individuals are the sum of their memories and experiences. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter what they sound like, who they are. but it does make up who they are. While physical aspects may be an important thing, it's who they actually are that's more important. And everyone's going to be a little bit different than someone else. There's no two people that are exactly alike. If you ever talk to the parents of twins, they'll tell you that they can easily tell their twins apart because they're so different from each other. So that's also very important. Now, I wanted to go over to the main topic of today now that I got those out of the way, and that's how to be a people's person. Like I said before, I say this as a clan leader and as a person who runs a YouTube channel. First of all, it's important to listen and think. If you listen more than you speak, you're more likely to come across as a accepting person, as a person who is intelligent and able to respond positively to people's, problems, and you're able to help more people, and that's a great way to be. Second thing, and this is sounding incredibly corny, I know, but it doesn't make it any less true. Try to be a friend and keep cool. If you're in the middle of an argument, it's important that you just try to treat everyone at least on a neutral perspective. They don't need to be your best friend, even your clanmates. They may not be your best friend, but you know what? Half my clanmates are people I would never think to be friends with in real life anyway. But I hang out with them because I think they're cool people, and everyone deserves a chance no matter how many times. If you've heard the saying, forgive 777 times, I think that comes from the Christian Bible, if I'm correct. Regardless of your religion, it's true either way. You should be a very forgiving person. Another thing that's just really simple, and I can just say it in one sentence, is don't respond to trolls at all. Don't even say a single word. The second you realize they're trolling, just stop talking, leave the room, whatever. The next thing I wanted to go over, and this is something that I've seen a lot of reviewers, a lot of new YouTubers struggle with, and I struggled with it a bit at the beginning, but because of my personality, it's slightly easier for me to go for it, and I like to help people get over this. It's very easy to do. It's similar to stage fright, but you need to remember to speak fluidly. Enunciate. You don't need to use huge words to sound smart, but a person who uses huge words but stutters a lot is going to seem less impressive than a person who's able to speak fluidly and be a strong orator. That's one of the reasons that Obama did such a great job getting elected. He's a great orator. He knows that it's not a good idea, unlike if you guys remember Bush's speeches. Although I was a Bush supporter and not so much of an Obama supporter, one thing that I could not get over with Bush is that every third word was or Obama doesn't seem to have that kind of problem. He knows how to speak fluidly, and that's very important. He may not need to use huge words all the time, but he sounds more intelligent as a person because he's able to use his vocal spills. Apparently I have great vocal skills. He was able to use his vocal skills to his own ability, and that's a good thing to do. Keep that in mind. Speak fluidly. And take your time when typing. Don't just spam stuff. It's not always the most appropriate thing to do. Next thing, and this is what you hear your parents say all your life. I was about to read the same thing over again. Be fair, even if it's towards someone you don't like, and think about what you're going to say and do before you say or do it. It's very, very important that you remember this at all times. A lot of times people will go into what they're going to say and regret saying it later. You can avoid all that regret that you would have saying something either to a friend, especially to a friend, something you would really not want to say later. I get that feeling as a clan leader all the time. I'll say something and then because I am the leader, I have to go through on what I say, and I feel very much obliged to do that. That's one of the things that makes a good clan leader, following through with what you say, regardless of whether it's positive or negative for the other person. A person will have more respect for you if you're able to sit down and follow through on what you say, no matter how good or bad it is for that person. If you say you're going to kick them, it looks better, although they may not feel positively about it. It looks better for you to go ahead and kick them from the clan than it is to go ahead and not, because then that allows people to question your, insight and strength as a leader, and also as a person, to be completely honest. I don't know how I didn't get the multi-kill right there, but anyway, that's very important. Follow through with what you're going to say and think what you're going to do and say before you do it. The next thing, and this is very simple, is to be forgiving. Be very forgiving. Allow second chances. Allow 777 chances. Now, even if it's a hacker, I'm not saying don't let a hacker stay in your clan until they've been caught 777 times. If they're a hacker, go ahead and kick them. But you need to be very forgiving and just understand that everyone has their own way to play the game. Not necessarily saying it's right or that I would even support it. I don't support hackers. I hate hackers. I don't hate the people. I just hate their morals and their methods. But you just need to be very forgiving. Understand that everyone comes from a different walk of life in some instances, if that's the best way I can put it. And understand that you are not the same person as them, as I mentioned several times already. Next thing is to be very plain and simple. Make your points clear and solid and lay down the line, but be calm about it. You don't need to overreact to everything, and just lay it down, but be calm, and make sure that people are not going to question your authority or question your drive later on. It's important to stick with what you're going to say. That's why thinking through things, as I said earlier, is very important. But be plain and simple and make sure that everyone can understand what you're saying. It's very important. The next thing is to realize that there will be others that are better than you, and this goes from the very basic level of not kicking people that you think hacked just because they headshotted you, which I think is way too much into Combat Arms anyway. Headshotting is way too easy. But treat everyone as if they are already better than you. Even if they have that 0.6 KDR and you've got that 1.4, treat them as better than you as both a person and a player, and you will never go wrong. In fact, you will more often than not win more matches that way, because then you begin to expect the unexpected, and as my brother says, the unexpected becomes the expected then. So that is just a better way to not only be as a person, but even to play simple games like this. That's just a better place to be in life. Other simple facts is to never forget to be polite. Use your honorifics and honor your elders, not necessarily over as a video game, but just as a person. And finally, don't forget to look at things from someone else's point of view. You all have different shoes. Try wearing someone else's. Listen to their story and use your own judgment. Using logic and judgment is a big part of video games and getting into this community. I'm about out of time here today, guys. Thank you for watching this commentary. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Shadowlance out.